Hi, I'm Jeff Stokes. Welcome to Jeff's Daily Dose of Encouragement. Today I want to encourage you, if God says you can, then you can. I'm reading from the story about where God has chosen Moses. He had just met God. Moses had just met God in the burning bush, and then God starts speaking to him and telling him that he wants him to go back and help deliver the children of Israel out of Egypt, and that he shows him Moses has got lots of questions. Who shall I say sent me, and things like that. And then God tells him to throw the rod down and pick it up again after it turned to a snake, and then puts his hand inside his breast and then takes it out. It was leprosy. He had leprosy. He put it back in and it's healed. And then it comes down to this part in verse 9 of chapter 4 of Exodus. And it says, "And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs," that's the sign of the rod and the sign of the leprous hand, "neither hearken unto your voice, that you shall take of the water of the river and pour it upon dry land, and the water which you take out of the river shall become blood upon your dry hand." And then Moses says to the Lord, "O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since you have spoken unto your servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue." So now here comes the excuses. And God said, and the Lord said unto him, "Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes the dumb or deaf or seeing or the blind? Have not I the Lord?" So God's saying, look, I made you. I gave you a mouth so you could speak. You can speak. And so he says, and then he further on in verse 12, God keeps going and says, "Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what to say, or what you shall say." And what does Moses do? Keeps complaining that he can't do it. "Oh," he said, "Oh my Lord, send, I pray you, by the hand of him whom you will send." Moses, it's you. And we could say the same thing, God might be saying to you, go and do this, or go and speak to that person, or go and do this. You say, me, I can't do that. Here am I, send him. But, God is telling you to do it because he believes in you, because he created you. He knows you inside out, back to front. And he wouldn't ask you if you couldn't do it. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, "Is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he comes forth to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad. And you shall speak to him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do." Anyway, so God relents and lets him just speak to Moses. Lets Moses speak to Aaron, and then Aaron puts the message out. But if you look at Moses' life later on, Moses actually does the speaking. So God got his way with Moses anyway. So my encouragement for you today is, if God says you can, you can. And so it's not about self-confidence or anything like that, but we have to believe in ourselves, in the sense that we have to believe in who God made us, and that he's in charge. He knows what he's talking about. He knows you and I backwards, inside out. But sometimes we don't even know what we're good at. I know that back in my life, if God hadn't told me to go to university, which I studied at university when I first went, I wouldn't have had a clue that I could do that stuff. But because he told me, I just went. And then I flourished there. I had no idea that I even had the ability to do that sort of academic study. So, God knows. He knows exactly what you've got. whether it's to speak or write or play or sing, preach, whatever it is, run a business, I don't know. Sometimes we just do not know what we've got inside us, but God does. And if God says you can do it, you can do it. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, the first step is to put your trust in him, because all things, including you, were created through Jesus Christ. Without him, nothing was made that was made, John 1 says. So, put your faith in Jesus Christ. Submit your life to him. If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God dwells in him and he in God. And if God dwells in you, it's really him that's doing the work through you. You've just got to let him use you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.